Democracy is a tool to solve real-world problems and make change that positively impacts billions of lives.
Gender-responsive budget is about men and women. It's about boys and girls. It will impact the lives of our children, people around us, and people that we love and people that we care for. It's important to make everyone understand so that everybody can embrace it and everybody can champion it. At the end of the day, we will get a more just and equitable society.
In Malaysia, women's average income is a third lower than men's. This affects the opportunities and choices they have in life and exposes them to a higher risk of poverty.
So COVID-19 brought about, unearthed the gendered impacts on people. Women were actually impacted the most because many of them had to give up their jobs to care for children. Domestic violence was on the rise.
When budget decisions are made without considering existing inequalities, a government's own policies can make existing problems worse.
As a lawmaker and also as an activist, I realize that usually allocations of budget does not address the needs of gender. Men and women, boys and girls are affected differently. Whatever decision that the government make, that's why it's very important to scrutinize on the impact and how we allocate budget so that it addresses the need of gender.
By taking this into account when setting their budgets, governments can foster community prosperity for everyone.
Gender-responsive budgeting, in essence, is a strategy that helps us understand the lived realities of every segment of the population. And in doing so, we then can put aside financial and all other resources to address those challenges. What happens when we address those challenges? We allow everyone in society to be able to walk towards equal opportunities, access to resources, to contribute towards the development and the prosperity of their micro-community, but to the nation as a whole.
WFD developed gender-responsive budgeting toolkits for MPs to use in their constituencies and organised focus group discussions.
That the Westminster Foundation for Democracy and Engender collaborated in localising GRB in parliamentary constituencies. In Malaysia, and I think everywhere else, this becomes very important because we are working at that grassroots level of society where people would ordinarily think that the federal agencies don't see them. We are making the invisible visible. They gather powerful data about the lived realities of the different subgroups of women and men, whether it's the older generation, the children, the adolescents, or people who have persons with disability. Once they gather this data, they bring them up to the state level where the legislators can influence policies and programs. They are truly living out their role as a representative of the people.
For me, the most important part actually as a leader to look as a gender lens. The most important part is we did not leave anybody behind.
As MPs, educators, ministers and civil society have integrated gender-responsive budgeting into their work, they discovered ways they could improve lives through budget setting and policy making.
I would say it is really imperative actually for any government in the world to put together GRP. Currently, I'm taking care of Minister Youth and Sport, which will help me to realign whatever direction by the government to incorporate GRB into the current annual budget system.
I'm glad to see that the initial project that we started with focus groups, we started with gathering the women together, we started with identifying their needs, we started by looking into what are the capacity building that we can provide for them. That's where we started, and we bridged the gap in terms of the need requirements and so on. And I'm glad that we have reached a stage where I would say that we are on the road to empowering our women in Kuantan.
A civil society organisation called Teja Station identified some of the needs of women from lower income groups to gain income-generating skills.
The focus group discussions actually led to single mothers being empowered. They were given sewing to market their products, to own their own shops. The children whom they cared for were also allowed to be in the same room as their moms while the mom was actually learning her trade. So this is a great achievement in the sense that women do not have that barrier to care for the children at the same time. WFD actually paved the way for gender-responsive budgeting project to unearth more and more issues and to find solutions to empower more women.
If all economic barriers are removed for women in Malaysia, the country's income per capita could grow by 26.2%. Gender-responsive budgeting is part of the democratic toolkit to help deliver for all citizens. Democracy can solve the problems that matter to people, but it does not thrive on its own. Support democracy, support change.